Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I'm good. It's been a busy month of May. Welcome to June, everybody. And
Yes,
yeah, it's my birthday month.
that's right, it is. And I'm almost done school time here, so
Do I get to do a splash machine?
yes. That's basically for those who don't know, every month with our swim team, with the kids that we coach, if their birthday is that month, we have the kids line up along either side of the lane and splash like crazy, and the kids who have a birthday that month have to swim through it. And I'm not a good sport because I did not do that back in January.
You did not.
I was like, heck no, because it was January, and I think we had plans after. I don't know. But you, Kyle, you've been a good sport and done that.
I'll do the splash machine.
It's summer and it's warm out.
Yeah, but anyway, I know.
hmm
I mean, it's been a great month for the Union. Nine matches, couple draws,
hmm
couple wins, no losses. You cannot ask for a better month. I know there's been some drop points. There's been some disappointing draws. We'll talk about last night's match in Dallas,
hmm
but there's a lot good.
Definitely.
And so if you're listening before we get started and do our intro, um, I just want to know and comment if you're listening on YouTube or even Spotify, like or anywhere. How are you feeling after this month of May? Because the Union, I know a couple teams below them have a game in hand or two.
hmm
Our number one support shield. Did you see this coming back in February? That is my question.
Yeah, it's a great question. I know I didn't see the Union being in first. I didn't see them being like wooden spoon contenders either. I thought they'd end up being more kind of in the middle,
Yeah.
perhaps. But hey, I'm Posidelphia right now. I'll tell you what, it's definitely the most exciting team in Philly right now, I'd say, because the Phillies just choked. They just got swept by the Brewers. Don't even talk to me about that. That was terrible.
Giants aren't doing any
But
better. But
yeah,
on today's show, sorry to cut you off there.
no, it's okay. I don't want to dwell on that
Yeah,
negativity.
yeah. We got a new Union to sign, which we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Um, lots and lots of call-ups. We
Yes,
had some more. We had some more news break today.
indeed.
And then we're going to talk about the Union's 4 point week. You know,
hmm
on the road, they get 4 points in two matches. Again, maybe one more, but before we get started, what are you wearing today?
Well, it is June 1st as we're recording this, so I'm wearing my Sons of Ben um rainbow kind of pride shirt that they put out a few years back, which I like. So, um yeah. And how about you, Kyle?
I'm wearing you, come on, you boys in blue collars, because, I mean, they put in blue collar work shift with 9 matches in the month of May.
hmm
Cardinal said last night he's never been through that. He doesn't even know if he's been through that as a player. So that's pretty impressive. They put in a work shift. We'll see.
hmm
You know, 17 games. We still got 17 to go. See how it turns out, but very impressive months. But where can people find us at?
So you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. We also have our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. Check it out for all kinds of articles that we've been putting out. And as we get into the summer, especially, and I have a little bit more time on my hands since I will be on hiatus from my full-time job, um, as many of you know. Yeah, I am going to be putting more articles out as well.
Hmm.
So be more on top of that because I know, Kyle, you've been doing a lot of them. But yeah, so I'll be on summer break. I'll have more time for that, so check it out. We have our YouTube channel, The One Team We Agree On. We also have our various social channels. We are on Twitter and on Blue Sky at TOTWAG. We are on Instagram and Facebook at The One Team We Agree On. Find me on Twitter as well at silly double underscore Jilly or at Jillian Almany on Blue Sky. And I'm on Instagram at silly double underscore Jilly as well. And you, Kyle, are at Coach Almany on everywhere.
Yeah. So let's get into some Union 2 news because we always like to start off with that.
Mhm.
People like to hear about that. So, and we love covering the team. I was down training this week again.
Mhm.
Um, Talked to Ryan Richter about the upcoming, this lull this week and then the matches. against Cincinnati coming up on Tuesday. So we'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But
Yeah, it's been very stop and go with their season, but it's going to start ramping up over the
oh
summer.
yeah, yeah. But Jillian, you shout out to our friend Jose Nunez. You know, he broke the story that, this signing was coming. We've known about it as well.
Yeah. But finally, the other day, it finally came out that the deal was done.
Yep.
So, uh, yeah. So Malik Jakupovic, he has signed with Union 2.
Yeah, and Jakubovic joined Philadelphia Academy back in 2023 at the age of 14.
Yep, he's 15 now, and
Yep.
almost 16.
And he's since featured in U15, U16, and U18 squads. In 2025, he was named to the Generation Adidas Cup Rising 11 in recognition of stand-up performances. Internationally, he has earned call-ups with U16 national team, making his debut in 2024. You know, um, and Ryan Richter said that Malik brings undeniable presence in the box and has been a constant threat in front of goal at the academy level.
Yeah,
So, and
yeah,
this is somebody, even before everything kind of broke, we've heard the rumblings.
yeah. And he's trained with Union 2. He's been up there training a bit, and
I've seen him a couple times. I
yeah,
can say what Ryan is saying is true. I mean, when he gets in that box and he gets the ball in his feet,
hmm
he finishes.
yeah.
And it's Union 2. Take it for what it is. But at 15 years old,
He's 6'3" and he's 15.
now this could
He's
be,
yeah,
the 10 under wonder we always
yeah,
call him,
but
but it's
yeah,
it's something that you see the ability,
yeah.
the skill at a young age. Now, if he continues to develop and track like you think you,
hmm
I mean, it's the same thing in recruiting, what I had to do, same thing you see with developmental kids. This is another good striker coming up from the Union Academy. And maybe some of the reasons they moved off of some of other people,
Yeah,
purely speculation, but
yeah. Yeah, that's why, possibly, guys like Anis Saidi and Diego Rocio and some of these guys, that there just wasn't a place for them. But yeah, I
yeah.
mean, that's just speculation. Just when you look at some of these moves that made, it's like, is that why they did that? So that's not us knowing anything. But I will say, we saw him play, I saw him play against Nor'easters in that friendly. And that second half, like we'd said, was a little bit less cohesive, but he looked fine. Yeah, he was doing okay. He's it's his first game with those guys, really. So
So he's still
kind
learning.
of finding his way and learning. So yeah, and I've seen though some of his play with like the U18s. Um, I've seen some of those plays with the academy, and yeah, he scores some bangers, honestly. Like he has some,
He's
yeah,
he's fun to watch.
he is fun to watch.
Now, having said that, if you do follow Union 2, are you saying, "Oh my gosh, is he going to be on the bench on Tuesday?" Let's pump the brakes a little bit. You don't know.
hmm
We don't know. That's only in Richter and his staff's
hmm
hand. But I think this is more of a long-term plan.
I think you might see more of him this summer because
I mean,
the
or even
U18's been
fall,
finishing up.
and even fall when some of
Yeah.
these guys are getting,
Yeah, because I know the U18s were just finishing up. They just
right.
played in Atlanta and
So
so
you might see a couple starts here and there. Not starts, but coming off the bench. Yeah, I would say maybe next year you see more of him
yeah, and another one to remember too that was signed was William Ferreira. Like I expect we'll see him at some point.
at some point.
Yeah,
Still,
so but no, there's a lot of this young talent coming up through. It's exciting to see their progress
I
and
mean,
yeah, I'm excited about Malik and he's dual US and Bosnia. So I think also it's important to, hey, he's been called up for the US team and he's been representing them. So yeah.
yeah, we look forward to seeing his development, but this is something you and I have been very excited about.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Um, let's talk about some call-ups.
Lots of call-ups. The
Y-
Union is doing great things for all these national teams, these
Yeah,
national team squads. No, it's great to see. It really speaks to the strength of the academy and also the recruiting when you see, some players playing for other national teams as well. But my goodness, with the US national teams, like the youth national teams.
it's a credit to John, it's a credit
Mhm,
to Ernst, the scouting department at the Philadelphia Union getting these people
mhm.
in there.
Yeah.
Um,
S-
it it's a good place. I mean, you see some of these national teams, they'll have like a huge wave of kids. Like,
mhm.
I forget which one I saw. It was like Atlanta United had like five or six, maybe. But consistently, Union are making a presence on all these teams. And this goes down to even U15s.
Yeah, and speaking of U15s, and I'm going to apologize right now if I say his name wrong because I don't even know the correct way to say it. Timoni Gabalajobi. I don't know if that's right,
You're not even yeah, that's not even.
but hey, he's yeah, U15s forward.
They've been doing some clips of him.
Mhm.
I did talk to somebody. They're like, for his age, he's impressive.
Yeah. Did
So,
I say his name right?
I did not ask about punctuation. Full disclosure, I did
Okay.
not. So,
Yeah.
if somebody knows how to pronounce his name, please let me know.
Um, but yeah, so U17s, you have Jameer Johnson and Kevin Sullivan. So there's definitely some talent there as well. No one for the U18s, but just shout out to Marlon LeBlanc because he is coaching with them again.
And shout out to him. I mean, they were up
Yeah.
2-0 today against France at half. I know they kind of fell apart, drew 2-2, but they ended up winning in PK. So shout out to Marlon. Congratulations on the PK victory.
Yeah, I'm sure like Neil Pierre probably would have gotten called if he wasn't
Yeah.
injured. So, but
Or
yeah,
maybe he made the U19s. Who knows?
well, the U19s, a lot of union representation there because Andrew Rick, CJ Olney, David Vasquez, and Sal Olivas. And Sal was announced like as a late add-on there the other day. So four guys there. I mean, this is tremendous. And the talent that you see in that, my goodness,
Yeah, no, I think Rick, I mean,
so well deserved. Rick has been just phenomenal.
and we'll talk about him
Yeah.
later on, but no, Rick, I would like to see him maybe get a match under his belt
Hmm.
in that. Um, and I'm glad for CJ and David because I mean we talked about, I mean, David played that Open Cup game,
Hmm.
but CJ hasn't gotten any minutes with the first team.
Hmm.
And I know he only
He got
had,
to travel, but he didn't get anything. So,
yeah,
yeah.
and that's okay.
And Sal got to travel too, by the way. So, to on this road trip they were just on.
Can we talk about Sal for a minute?
Yeah.
Uh, and full disclosure, like I'm happy for the guy. We had him on this
Yeah.
podcast. He's having a good season.
Hmm. Top goal scorer on the team right now, which I think he has like 4 goals.
Yeah, a goal more than he had last year. I
Unfortunately, he could have had so many more. He had
he
so many chances in that last game, especially just the
and
finishing.
I see what everybody sees in him.
The talent is there, and it's not.
It's just I feel like watching him day in and day out, there could be a little bit more. There could be a little bit more, and I hope he finds that because if he can put the pieces of the puzzle together, so to speak,
Yeah.
he'll be fine.
Yeah, no, Sal's super talented. I think he just hasn't been able to.
I just don't know how he fits the system
Yeah.
because he's not that pressing type. He's even
Yeah.
said that
Yeah. I
on
think
our
it comes down
podcast.
to sometimes, yeah, like,
It comes down to effort.
hmm,
That's a fair point.
yeah,
It comes down to effort. Sometimes I feel like he just it doesn't fit his skill set, but
yeah,
that's just my opinion.
yeah,
I want you, everybody here, to comment if you follow YouTube. Is it skill or is it effort? Like, you
yeah,
know,
yep. And then in the U20s, we have Frankie Westfield, which again, tremendous. He was, I mean, he's had quite the season, and this came as no surprise.
Yeah,
I know Bradley said as much when I asked him about Frankie and Sal getting caught up because they were both announced the other day.
yeah,
So that's awesome for Frankie. Hopefully he gets to play in the U20 World Cup.
yeah.
So
No, and I think if he does, I mean,
his stock just continues to keep
yeah.
rising. So good
So
for
he's a
Frankie.
quick riser. So
Hmm.
Union fans, I'm gonna say it. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see.
Yeah.
But I mean, his time with the Union, maybe is it short? We don't
I don't
know.
know. But
But
credit
happy
to
to
him.
see that rise in the
Yeah.
last year and a half has just been fun to watch.
Absolutely. And then, of course, for the senior team, the U.S. men's national team, we have Quinn Sullivan, and then just announced today, Nate Harriel got called. He got added.
Yeah.
He and former Union player Paxton Aronson got added,
Then
and
you
Walker Zimmerman. So those three got announced. So
and then you add Jack McGlynn,
Jack McGlynn was already called there.
Mark McKenzie, and then you got
Brendan Aronson
Brendan Aronson too. So
and Matt Freeze.
yeah,
Like
think
all
about
the Union connections.
think about that for a minute if you're listening. Think about all these people. People are like, well, it's the Gold Cup, and some of the big names aren't there. I mean,
Yeah, but
but this is an incredible opportunity for these
yeah,
players.
it is an opportunity. That's key. Like, let's forget about the players that aren't there. Okay, these guys are very talented, and this is their chance to show what talent they have, what they can bring to it. I thought, for instance, in January, with Camp Cupcake, whatever. No, I thought Jack McGlynn was fantastic, you
And
know?
think about that. I mean, he balls out.
Mm-hmm.
Houston gets an offer.
Mm-hmm.
Union benefit.
Yep.
You want to see Matt Freese continue to
Mm-hmm.
development. Because a lot of these deals have sell-on clauses that the
Mm-hmm.
union can continue to make money off of.
Yep.
And that's the important thing. And I know some people have said, "Oh, I wish they were still here." We Sure,
Yeah.
that's a fair point. But you look at the soccer business side of it,
Mm-hmm.
it's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really, really is because Paxton balls out. Maybe he moves on.
I mean, when they sold Paxton, I mean, that was, yeah, they got to take that deal.
No, you take that deal 100 days ago.
Yes.
And he had
Yeah.
great seasons. So
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
the end of the day, it is a good day for the Union. And then we also have
The international.
Daniel John Jacques gets called up for Haiti. Now, Jose did bring up on the post match last night, Fafa Pico,
Mm-hmm.
former Union, is only doing the World Cup qualifiers.
Mm-hmm.
He's not doing the Gold Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that might be because of the Club World Cup. I don't
Yeah.
know. But I'm not going to speculate. That said, I mean, there's a person that's maybe out for a little bit post June 10th.
Mm-hmm.
Andre Blake, we'll see.
Yeah. So Andre will be yeah,
With
with Jamaica.
Jamaica.
And
Ty Baribo will be with Israel.
yeah.
So really, really good.
Yeah. Most of these guys should be back in time for the Charlotte match on June 14th, but there's a couple that may not be.
And for the ones that aren't back, sure, let's say Nate and Quinn get called up.
Hmm.
You can still have there's backups there, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe Danley stays around. While it would hurt, you still have a backup.
Hmm. Yeah. There's
Blake
options.
Blake stays, you're probably gonna go with Rick.
Yeah.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like it could be worse. It really could be
Yeah.
worse. Um, I'm just really, really interested on this month of June, and we'll talk about that at the end of the episode. But let's talk about the matches. No you two this week. I want to get your thoughts on the Toronto match. Now, Jose Todd talked about it.
Hmm.
Great episode. If you haven't
Yep.
gone,
And then
check it out.
I was on
Yeah,
I was on Across the Pitch with Mike Barrera. Go check that out. We did post game after the Toronto match as well.
yeah. I mean, So you guys can get those thoughts, but I wanted to get our thoughts.
Hmm.
Just a couple notes. The Union win marks the first s- road victory against Toronto since May 11th of 2019. First time in franchise history, the Union scored and won. Oh, I should say, have won, come
Hmm.
back to win after the 85th minute.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, Wagner with a goal and assist. Harrell game tying goal on a beautiful header.
What a header.
I
Ariel
mean,
Harriel.
yep, he
You love
showed
to
up.
see it. It's just so he's so good in that.
And then you saw a
Yep.
social media post with Sullivan and him going back and forth there.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Both were named to the team of the match day,
Yep.
which, okay, well deserved. Um,
Yeah.
and then the Union now, and this is from, so Todd's talked about, I've talked about, we're tracking points gained and dropped. You now have 12 points gained from losing positions through 17 matches. This is a
Resilience.
team. This is a team last year dropped 27 points.
Hmm.
Um, they've gained a lot this year, and that's the reason that they're at the top of the table right now, in my opinion.
Yeah. Last year they lose that match.
Yes, they give up that goal on a really like
Nate
turnover.
got caught ball.
We've seen that. We've
Yeah,
seen
Nate
that
got
so much.
yeah.
Yep, got turned over.
Hmm.
Nate's waiting for Jacob. Jacob's trying to protect the middle of the box.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh crap, this guy's coming in, tries to get. Blake kind of just stands there and lets the ball go over him. Like there was
Yeah.
just,
It was bad.
it was a
Watching that, I'm
bad.
like, oh, that was too bad. But to Nate's credit, then he makes up for it with the game tying goal.
And then, and this is what we said last year, and even 2023, you need to get the lucky breaks. That shot
Yeah.
by Kai is blocked,
Yeah.
but it gets deflected.
Yep.
Sean Johnson reads it the wrong way and just sees it go over his head. Sometimes you get a little bit of luck
Yeah.
and the bounces go your way, and maybe, 1 point gain turns into 3 points gain.
Yep.
And you go after that and just say, hey, you know what? Great road win.
Yeah, absolutely. That was great. And
And I thought it was a good defensive performance.
yeah.
I thought there was times that, yes, you could have gotten a little bit more goals, but hey, Toronto hasn't always been friendly to Philadelphia.
No.
You you can't you can't criticize that. I mean, Uwa had some chances. Damiani,
Mhm.
he makes that shot early on that Sean Johnson
Oh,
makes a great save.
just an incredible bicycle, basically.
You still realize that Messi will win match. No,
Oh my God.
no. Let's
No.
not go into that.
Yeah.
But I just make that joke. Having said
If
that,
Messi scores any kind of whatever goal, he makes goal of the week.
I mean, he had a match yesterday. Let's just be honest. I
Well,
mean, he's going to win player of the match day.
also Columbus, they were kind of butt yesterday, but
Kyle Schulte bails him out more than I think a lot of people
yeah.
know. But that's just my thought. Yeah, so he gets that.
Hmm.
He gets that. I mean, it was one of those grind out matches.
Yeah.
Your thoughts? Anything else?
I mean, that they continue to show that they can perform on the road. That and and even think back to last season, they were even actually better on the road a lot of times. So they had such a hard time at home. But this team being good on the road, that's tremendous because they're going to have to be on the road. Like if they get through the next round of the Open Cup, for instance, they're going to be on the road for everything, once if they get to the semifinals and the finals, they're going to be on the road for that. So it it's very encouraging that they can win on the road.
It is. I think for me, the biggest thing is if you look at last year, let me go down here. Um, Union have already eclipsed in terms of wins on the road through 17 matches that they did in all of 2024.
And last year, yeah, last year Union only had 34. But they have 37 points last year, I think it said,
Yeah,
right?
they're at 34
They're at
points.
34 points right now.
So I looked this up. Union are better than the 2010 first year
Mm-hmm.
of the Union, who had 31 points.
Mm-hmm.
Union already eclipsed that in 21 games. Now, the benchmark for me is, can they get to what the 2020 Sports Shield winner team
Mm-hmm.
was able to do in 23 games? And I was looking at that earlier. Let
Mm-hmm.
me go down here. There you go. They had 47 points in 23 matches played.
Hmm.
So in the next six matches, they got to get 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
My question to you is, and this is a little before we get into Dallas, or do you want to save this for later?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Like,
Yeah.
if they get there, 23 matches, I mean, phew,
Yeah.
game on.
Yeah.
And you're not seeing this on our screen. We're looking behind the camera here,
Yeah.
so to speak. But yeah, I think if they were able to even get to like 40 points in 23 matches, I mean, you're still looking at a good eclipse right now.
True.
But we'll see. Anyway, let's talk about Dallas.
Well, let's talk about Dallas. So the Union pick up a point in Dallas for the first time since 2012. They
Yeah,
get a 0-0 draw, which some people thought was boring, but hey, it's a road point,
yeah.
and some people are looking at it as, so that's drop points. Well,
I mean, you can't drop points when you don't have points.
yeah.
So here's Carnell. And
Yeah, what a month. What a month. I mean, obviously disappointed tonight. Not disappointed, I would say. But yeah, we would have loved to have got all 3 points on a road trip. That's been pretty grueling for the last couple of days and been, yeah, credit to the boys for going through this month unbeaten. I don't know if any of the guys have ever experienced that. I'm not sure if I have too, as a player or a coach, in the most grueling, challenging times. To get through unscathed and end off on a clean sheet. That they get the red card. Sometimes that's the most difficult games to play. They're just waiting for one moment. They've got great transition players, Kamungo, Julio. So, we mitigated that for most of the game and happy to get out of here with a point at the end of the month. For sure, if we were different, if we were stronger in terms of fitness wise and health wise, we could have, pushed a little bit more at the end there. But proud of the boys, super proud. Haven't looked at the results yet all around the league, but I'm not really focused on those teams right now. We're just focused on our journey. And now we get a chance to reset a little bit for a couple of days and let all our guys go and represent their nations proudly. Thank you.
so let's talk about that
Yeah.
because he brings up a really good point here. In that, again, the fitness.
Right.
You played 9 matches in the month of May.
Mm-hmm.
Wednesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday.
It was
There's
brutal.
not a lot of time with regen.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically going Sunday, you train if they give him a day off, you regen Monday, Sunday, Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe get a day in, prepping Tuesday, game Wednesday, regen, prep Friday, match Saturday, and you kept doing it. There's not a lot of time to, hey guys, we need to plan,
Yeah. Plus,
prepare,
there's travel in there.
plus there's travel. And like this past week, they go from Toronto
Yep.
to Dallas,
Yep.
so there's that travel as well.
Yep.
So there's just like a busy schedule like that. There's not a lot of time for training, development, that kind of stuff. It's just basically go, 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 go.
Yes. And like Bradley said, it's a credit to the guys.
They did.
They really did well despite the challenge of all of that, of all of what you just said, Kyle. The just that nonstop schedule. So, hey, for them to come through that month undefeated, that's tremendous. And like
And
you've got to feel positive about that.
you do. And I want to hear your comments. If you're negative about it, like you can say Columbus. You can say Inter Miami. You can say last night. Okay, maybe you could be at 40 points if everything goes well. If everything goes well, but let's be honest. Cincinnati loses to DC
Mm-hmm.
at home after getting drawn 3-3 midweek by Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Miami blows up Columbus there again. You know, Nashville goes up 2-0 on the road. NYCFC comes back, scores 2 goals second half. I mean, and Cincinnati dropped points on the road. I mean, the road's tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you look at Chicago coming up the end of this month. That's a tough match. This league, the parity is, as to Jim, the margins are razor thin when it comes to some of these quality teams. Now, credit to the Union, to this point, they've beaten the teams they can beat.
Mm-hmm.
You could make the argument they struggled. We've said it
Mm-hmm.
before. But man,
Yeah. I mean,
you gotta feel, I hate to use the word hope because it's the hope that kills you, but you do. This is a good team. This is a good team that, all things considered, will be there, and if they continue to get those points, they have a shot. And Todd and Jose brought this up. Is it time to start believing?
I mean, as far into the season as they are at this point,
You know what you got.
you do know. And I feel like Bradley and his coaching staff are really doing well with the players. I think that there's just a lot of belief in there that they're managing players well. I feel like the locker room has been very good. And from what we've heard, players saying things about that and everything, that, yeah, the vibes are real good and they keep that going.
I want I want to go back to a comment, and I agree with you on that with the locker room. I'm gonna go back to a comment Indiana Vasilov said to Dodd during his
Hmm.
interview that the culture was already there.
Yeah.
Cornell just built upon it.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see that a coach has been there, been successful, maybe gets a little stale.
Yeah.
Then you got to come back around, bring in new blood, new minds. The culture's still there, enhances
Yeah.
it, and that team takes its next step forward. Kansas City saw it with Andy Reid,
Hmm.
put it in Eagles. Um, Heck, Nick Sirianni did it from Doug Peterson.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see the talents there, and you move it forward. Um, Oftentimes it doesn't, but when you hit that sweet spot, it good things can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's exciting to see. And I will say, yeah, there's still people being Negadelphia and everything. You know, I don't know.
I, I mean, they want their team to be the best, and I
Yeah.
think that's the thing that makes Philadelphia great.
Yeah.
Even as an outsider, even as a person that this is the only team I agree on.
Yeah. Like I'll be the first to say right now, I turned off the Phillies game today because I was like, you know what? This is, you know, and they did,
Was it not good?
yeah, not good. Uh, but teams have, their peaks and valleys a little bit. I blame Spencer Strider because he hit Bryce and the team suffered after that.
Yeah.
It kind of threw off their mojo, I think, I swear. But anyway, I digress. I think that if you're a Philly fan, you have reason to believe right now. And will the team go through hardships? I mean, hopefully
Oh,
not, but
it,
it's a
it,
long season.
like you just said, it's the peaks and valleys.
Mhm.
They're gonna probably go through a couple. It could come up
Yeah,
here at the end of June with Chicago
yeah.
on the road,
Well,
Chicago,
the
Columbus, and
gut punch,
Nashville.
the gut punch that was Columbus and Miami, those games where it got tied up at the death, basically. Like that was a gut punch. And I know the feeling after that wasn't so it's like, I mean, it's a draw, but they should have won that? So you kind of have those moments where I'm just like,
But then you responded
but
the
they
next game.
responded. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think that's big. And yeah, continue with the Dallas match, just talking about that a little bit.
No Andre.
Yeah, no Andre. I think that was a surprise seeing the lineup come out and no Andre not on the bench or anything. And Bradley said it was just a personal matter, like a family matter for
Or like
Andre.
what he said with Allie.
Yeah, so they'll know anything about that,
Don't know.
but
Not gonna read too much into it either.
no,
No.
no. But so you had Andrew, Rick, and net, and Rick gets the clean sheet. I mean, he didn't have to do too much, to be
I mean,
honest.
he had a couple.
He made
He made one or two saves,
yeah.
but he also had a couple moments where he hesitated to come out of the box. Shout out to our friend Jose Nunez for bringing that up
Hmm.
because we were both even like that shot early on by Julio that just missed wide. Like
Yeah.
he, it was the same kind of goal that he let against LA Galaxy earlier, where he just wasn't set. He wasn't set yet. So there's
Hmm.
those moments still where he needs to be still better. But then, like, he's got a couple chances, and as the game kind of grew on and he built into it, he was
Yeah.
fine. It wasn't the goals I was most worried about the Union giving up last night. It was just like, can they get a goal?
Yeah. So
So
on
yeah,
that, just well, we'll talk about that in a second, but um, yeah, the lineup that comes out. Bradley Carnell made 7 changes from their midweek victory at Toronto.
and let's talk about that because I brought that in there because remember Jim said anytime you rotate more than was it six, it's like the data shows that you drop like
Hmm.
significant performance. So it is interesting.
It was an interesting lineup that came out, and a lot of people were like Chris Donovan. Nope.
I mean,
Starting and like
Donovan was fine.
yeah, so you had McKellen Donovan. I mean, that's okay. But you just
Ben
need
Bender.
Ben Bender making his first start with the
What?
Union.
Let's talk about Bender. What'd
Yeah.
you think of him? I mean,
I thought he did okay. Like I wouldn't say he was the best one on the field, but I wouldn't say he was the worst. He did okay. He's still finding his way with the team. I think
exactly.
he showed some good skill there, but he also I think he got dispossessed a few times.
Yeah.
And so, he's still I think getting into form,
You
honestly.
see the you see what you saw from Charlotte in 2022
Hmm.
is there still, but it's just getting caught up to speed. And that's kind of when we came up on the post game last night. I was like, I'm really not too worried. There's a
Hmm.
couple times some of his turnovers led into counters. I'm like,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
luckily you were able to mitigate that.
Yep. We have
And
to yeah, go ahead.
and then we saw, Lawless Abubakar picked up a second yellow card in the first half.
Yep.
And the unfortunate part on the first yellow card, you see the play on the groin there from Mikel Ua, who
Yeah.
was finding his rhythm as that first half was going on.
Hmm.
And then you get that, and then he has to come out. Damiani comes on. We'll talk about Damiani here in a second, but Carnell says he's not a doctor. It's a groin area.
Hmm.
You can see him pointing at his groin on the
Yeah.
film. He was telling Paulie a couple times, like, it's my groin.
Yeah.
The Union, this is a guy, I know he only has 2 goals in the season, but he plays well with Damiani and he plays well with Baribo
He does a lot of the dirty work. He sets up Rebo so much. That's what we were saying that Ty didn't seem to be doing much last night. And
because they weren't getting him the ball.
yeah, like Mikel does a great job of feeding him the ball. How many times did Ty score off of a Mikel,
Yeah.
pass? So, but
And look, Ty, okay, you can say last night he didn't really do much, but I'm fine with starting Donovan. Like Ty's played a lot, Damiani's played a lot,
mhm.
Ua's played a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
this was a lineup, and this is my personal feeling, that Carnell was challenging the squad. Go out there and try to get 3 points with this rotated squad and
Yeah.
all the things we were presented.
Yeah,
If
he's
we
yeah, go ahead.
if they do that, awesome. We're singing a whole different story right now.
Yeah.
But
He
I'm still very positive.
Yeah, I mean, he's not afraid to give some guys a chance, that's for sure. So, but yeah, seeing the guys that were on the bench, you think, okay, well, depending on how this goes, yeah, he's going to bring in guys like Quinn and he's going to bring in, you know, all these different guys. So, we
So
mentioned,
I
I
have Okay.
I was gonna say also, um, I did think that the back line did a good job. This was a well-deserved rest for Jacob Glesnes,
Yep.
and I was very glad to see Makanya have a very good game. And I noted that in the article we said, this was the return to Toyota Stadium for Frankie and for
Kind of.
Makanya and for Andrew Rick. And I know he didn't play, but Cavan, CJ, so like a lot of these guys that got to come along, this was a return for these Union 2 guys last year in the next Pro Cup. And for a guy like Makanya who left that match early with a straight red card, uh, I was glad to see Kanye have a good game. I was really, really hoping he'd score a goal just, for the storyline of it. Um, but still, it was great to see those guys have a good game. Rick get that clean sheet there as well. So, um, but yeah, that
Yeah.
was
And
my
how
thoughts on
many
that.
times did they bring it up on the announcement?
They did,
They brought it up like every 10 minutes about MLS Next Pro. It's like, yeah, we were there.
we were there. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
um and that's something the commenters, the commenting team last night, they were okay. Were they better than Toronto? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were much better in Toronto, but they just kept bringing up things. It's like, if the Union drop points tonight, you gotta feel like this is unsufferable. Like, you can't drop points. I'm sitting there like 5 or 6 times, like, I'm gonna take a point and I'm
Yeah.
fine with this. Like the whole night, even on the post game, like the first comment out of my mouth, I'm fine with this draw. And I know
Yeah. I'm fine with it. I'm not like,
I'm not
yeah,
jumping like,
but
yeah, let's go, but
I'm okay with it.
I'm okay with it. And good teams, again, good teams get points on the road,
Yeah.
regardless. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
Now, Bruno Damiani, and I asked
Yeah.
Carnell because a lot of people are saying, the Union just weren't breaking them down. Well, they had 23 shots on goal. And I asked this question. Now, I could have phrased it better. And if you go back and watch the YouTube channel, and like Carnell's like, hey, do you mean us? And I'm like, no, I meant Dallas. They were blocking. Like they
Yeah.
were just compact. As soon as the Union got around, they were just
Like credit to their defense, they really were compact.
now the Union were getting chances.
Yeah.
And I probably should have said you also gave you also had 23 shots on net, so
Hmm.
it wasn't bad, but it just didn't seem to me, and you even said it, like they could not penetrate.
And you know what Jim Curtin said? Possession without penetration
So
is useless.
here's what Carnell had to say about that, because I did ask him this. So we'll go to this one. Yeah.
For us, it was through the 90 minutes. Can we wear them down? And I think if you look at 23 shots, and we didn't get much on target, and so some of these days, and I said, it's the result of the month we've had. I'm just glad we got through the month the way we did, and we take the clean sheet and run with it. So yeah, I don't think it's much of what Dallas did as opposed to how much sort of traveling games minutes in the legs were. Yeah.
And that's a fair point.
Yeah.
It's a fair point. And I appreciate that response because he's right.
Mhm.
23 shots, what was it, one or two shots on target? I think Lukic was the first one that had a shot on target late in the second half.
Yeah, it took a while.
It took a while, but
Like Bruno kept getting like he would be in the right place or so, he'd just miss it. It would hit the goalpost or it'd just go wide or Bruno was really snake bitten. But yeah, it took a while for Lukic just to get that quality shot on there.
I do think the amount of games did have a play on it.
Hmm.
But there's times they couldn't transition quick enough. Dallas was
Yeah.
just too quick. And maybe that was the amount of games.
Yeah, they need to get them on the transition because like the Dallas
They
would have
could,
way
and-
too much time to set up, though.
Yep.
And that was the problem.
And that's what I was trying to get to. And again, lesson learned. I could answer my question better. But I appreciate Bradley giving me that question
Yep.
as well because, yeah, I thought Bruno was in dangerous positions. I thought at the night you were in dangerous positions. Now you can counter, and I want everybody out there, you can comment where are you feeling with Bruno? Because he's showing that he gets in those spots. And we've seen when he was at Boston River, it would take a couple games for him to get in form. Once he got in form, it's like, Ty, he starts going off and he gets that confidence. Same with Mikel. When Mikel feeling confident, he goes off. So
I think Bruno could have a big summer.
I do too.
He gets in a rhythm, and I think you might see some really good things
And
here.
here's the other thing people aren't considering. He was a late addition to the squad.
Yeah.
He was a late addition. So is this another Gosdog ga Gauss Gauss theorem? That's MLS podcast.
Hmm.
Gosdog theorem that
Hmm.
takes 1 year for a player to develop,
Hmm.
and then the second year.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah, people out there saying that, oh, he's a bust on that. It's like, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I've seen people saying he's the worst. He's a
Let's
bigger
pump the
bust than
brake.
Ua. And I'm like, what? Come on. Let's pump the brakes. Give the guy a full season.
Yeah.
Then we'll have a discussion.
Yep.
So, Union extend their unbeaten run through 9 games, 9 matches, equalizing the longest streak in club history,
Hmm.
2016, 2023. You know, as I said at the end, Union already have 4 points in this current block of five. I already had them at 4 points. So they matched
Hmm.
that. So take my prediction with a grain of salt at this point. But hey, some talent coming up. Nashville, Chicago,
Hmm.
Charlotte. You got Red Bull too.
Yep. Yeah. Red
Um,
Bull twice in
yeah.
July.
So business will pick up a little bit here,
Hmm.
and we're gonna see. But you gotta feel really good right now.
We do. We do. And
And
yeah.
we I know 2022, and I hate bringing it up. I know it seems like to be a reference point with a lot of people.
The best way to get people to stop talking about 2022 is win in 2025. Made all of us Eagles fans forget 2022.
It
Say
did,
when,
but
but
at the same time, like, hey, you know what? Enjoy the ride right now. I'm gonna
that's
bring that.
that's all I'm doing.
Yeah, enjoy the ride. Enjoy the coverage that at the same time, people are bringing you, not
Hmm.
just us, Todd,
Lots of
Jose,
great union coverage out there.
lots of great union coverage out
Lots of
there.
great independent reporters on this. So
Yeah, enjoy it. And hey, we'll see what happens this summer. And remember, we still got a July window. We
hmm
don't know anything. We're
the
not
union
gonna,
might, yeah, who knows? Like
who
the union
knows
might
what
have
happens,
something in the works. That
but we'll see what happens. Anyway, wrapping up. Union 2 on the road on Tuesday, play FC Cincinnati 2.
yep, 7
Uh,
p.m.
I was down. I talked to Ryan this week. I don't know if you're going to do an article with those comments or not, but we talked to Ryan and
Mhm.
Eddie a little bit.
Yes.
We'll have some content in regards to that coming out.
Yep.
Um,
I'll definitely be reporting on the match as well. So
yeah. We'll have some content there.
yeah,
And
thanks to our pool's pump busting because
yeah,
yeah, I will actually be able to watch the full game.
so you'll have an article up by the
Yeah.
end this week. And then we got friendly. And
Yes.
I know a lot of people are like, well, there's going to be a lot of break, there's going to be this and that.
All kinds of reserve players. Meanwhile, I'm like, cool, I want to see some of these guys play. Like, am I the only one who's like, actually, I'm looking forward to seeing some of these guys play. I want to see Marcus Anderson play. I want to see some of these guys get caught up. I want to see Jeremy Raffinello play. I want to see, you know, who are we gonna have in goal? Is it gonna be Zemler or Mike Sheridan? You
Yeah,
know,
I think this is going to be a fun thing. I mean, look, I know some people are like, hey, it's friendly, I'm selling my ticket. I get that.
get it, but
Yeah, but for us to cover the second team
mhm.
and follow the academy, this is a really good opportunity to maybe see how those guys do. I assume Atlas will play some of their stars and probably some of their
They're
reserves
guys
as
with
well.
the triple digit numbers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, you
Yeah.
might get some of those guys, but
Yeah.
it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity to see Carnell, for Carnell to see these guys in
Yeah.
action. So yeah, you're gonna go up and tentative to go. You're
Yeah.
gonna apply, and so we'll get some coverage. regardless, we'll have coverage for the match.
Yeah, like not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of excited for it. Because first of all, yeah, I'm excited to see some other guys get a chance and it's no pressure, it's a friendly. You know,
Yeah.
the result really it's not a big deal, but want to see what these guys do. I just want to see a good game and
The
if
biggest thing,
fun game and
don't get out, don't have any injuries. Get
yeah,
out unscathed
that's
and
true.
move up.
And honestly, like the fans of the Mexican teams, they bring some good like energy to the matches too. I mean,
We'll see how many Atlas fans show up, but I hope
yeah.
they do show up.
I hope
But
so too. And I know some friends of ours who are excited just for all the vendors that come when they play the Mexican teams. But
exactly.
yeah, it should be good. I think it's hopefully gonna be good weather and it's yeah, I
It,
don't
it
know,
will
look
be
forward to it.
fun. Again, take this match as a grain of salt. The biggest thing is for the Union, it's a training exercise.
Mhm.
Get out of there without any injuries. Maybe you see something from somebody that they can use later on this summer,
Yeah.
and it's an opportunity. And that's the biggest thing. It's an opportunity for some of these guys that haven't still cracked maybe meaningful minutes to show their opportunity. So,
Yeah. And by the way, we haven't heard anything about if it's going to be streamed anywhere, what the deal is
yep,
with that. So if we hear anything, we'll put it out there. I know.
yeah.
Um,
Jose was talking.
Jose, yeah,
Jose was talking about that.
yeah, he was gonna find out.
But anyway, thanks for tuning in again. Thank you guys for another great week on our website.
Yeah,
We appreciate all, I appreciate, we
yeah,
appreciate all the support. Um, but this has been another episode of the One Team We Agree On.
yeah. So make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on our various social media channels. And you can subscribe to our website. There's a place to subscribe on there. Share it, if you enjoy it. We enjoy putting out that content for you. So, but yeah, definitely interact with us. Leave us comments. Let us know what you think. And if you see us in person, if you see us at the Atlas game or whatever, come say hi. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And shout out to the people that said hi to us the last match as well. So, it's always nice chatting with people.
Yeah. And until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.